Another reading vlog. Thank you as always for being here. I really appreciate it. Today's reading vlog is extremely exciting for me. I am reading two of my most anticipated books, one that's being released later on in the year and one that's been published last year and has somehow never got around to. And that book is Either Or by Elif Batuman. I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally read this book. If you know me at all, or if you've maybe watched any of my other videos or reading vlogs, you know that I love The Idiot, which is the first book. And this is a sequel to it. I noticed every time I hold up a yellow book, everything else turns blue. If I take this down, it will go back to normal. Let me show you. So this is the normal colouring. Can you see how it's a lot warmer? If I'm about to pick up this book again, it's going to go blue. So I'm just not going to. You've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. So very excitingly, I'm finally going to read Either Or. This is the sequel to The Idiot. We are still following Selin. I think it's kind of picking up where The Idiot left off. So I love that. I'm just so happy that there's no gap, like nothing to catch up on. We're just going to keep going. I'm so excited to be back in Selin's head, to kind of read her thought process. I just relate to her so much. So that is, I just can't wait. I'm so excited. And then the other book that I'm going to read, which is also just as exciting, is The Guest by Emma Cline. I got approved for this on NetGalley. This is coming out on, I think, the 16th of March, so in the summertime. I'm reading this on my iPad. I hate with a passion to read on my iPad, but I'm willing to do it for Emma Cline. It's fine. I'm sure it will be worth it. From what I know, this is about a young woman who is kind of lost in her life. She's not really got a direction, she's not really got any goals in her life. She's just kind of going from relationship, or maybe situationship is a better word, to situationship, kind of living in these men's houses. She's being kicked out of her own flat. So yeah, she's not really got kind of a sense of direction in her world. And I think she's also pretending to be someone she's not. She's kind of changing her personality to fit into these different situations, kind of anticipating these men's needs and just kind of fulfilling that role of the perfect girlfriend. I started both of these books last night. I know about 30 pages into both of them, but it's so nice to be so excited about books. I feel like that doesn't happen a lot of the time for me. I'm kind of a person that's lukewarm about a lot of things. There's I can see positives and negatives in a lot of books, which is obviously the point of reading. But I just feel like a lot of the books, when I finish them, I'm just I feel very middle of the road about them. But I feel like these could be a hit. So let's find out. I'm about to go to the library to return some books. So I'm having a very nice and relaxed day, which is exactly what I need. I feel very low energy. I feel very tired from my week at work. So yeah, I'm just going to be lying in bed, sitting on my couch, reading, which is exactly what I want to do. You have joined me in my kitchen, clearly. Let's ignore the excessive coffee syrup collection. It's my hyperfixation at the moment. Everyone's got one, that's mine at the moment. Also, look how cute my Strand mug is. Isn't that so sweet? My tea is finished, basically, but it's cute. It goes with the outfit, with the vibe. It's not an outfit, is it? Oh well. Anyway, I am in the process of making lunch. I'm just making a little toasty. I'm off this week from work, which is really nice. I've had so many holiday days left still from last year that I need to take them. So I've got a very chill week this week and hopefully going to do lots of reading. Let me just put my toasty in the toaster. Give me a second. So I thought I'd give you a little reading update. Let me just get the book, one sec. Here she is in all her beauty. I'm about 88 pages in. I'm not sure that's worth even doing a reading update, but here we are. So there's not really that much to say yet, but sorry, this is really loud. I just love being back in Selen's head and hearing her thought process and just watching her go through her everyday Harvard life. In regards to Ivan, still not sure how to pronounce that. My German brain is telling me Ivan because Hungary is closer to Germany than it is to the US, so I feel like that it just makes sense in my head. In regards to her love interest, let's just say, they're not really in contact. She is still reading. She's reading this book called Either Or by, now that is the question, a very famous author that I've never read a book from. She's also thinking a lot about something that she's talked about in the idiot with her friend Svetlana, who said that you either live an ethical or an aesthetic life, and she thinks a lot about that, which I think is really interesting. And there was this one quote, not relating to this, but let me see, I'm pretty sure I underlined it. So this has got nothing to do with what I just previously talked about, but she's thinking about the books that she tends to like. The books I enjoy are usually long, containing descriptions of furniture and of somebody falling in love. Same girl. Me too. Okay, my camera's running out, one sec. Both of my batteries just ran out at the same time, so that's great timing. So I'm on my phone. As far as The Guest by Emma Cline goes, I am already about halfway through, maybe even a little bit more. Even though it's really slow paced, it's a quick read. It's one of them books where nothing much happens. It's kind of no plot, just vibes, which I love. The main character, Alex, she just got kicked out of her sort of, not her boyfriend, that kind of, I'm not sure if she's like an escort or like sugar baby. I think something along the lines, and she kind of attaches to these different wealthy men to kind of support her lifestyle. One of these men took her to the Hamptons, to his kind of holiday home, and just kind of left her stranded. He wanted to send her back to the city, but she got kicked out of her apartment previously, which he doesn't know. So she's got nowhere to go. She's got no money really. She's only got the belongings that she carried there with her in one single bag. So she is feeling lost. Because there's not that much happening, there's not much to say, but she's building up a lot of tension. Emma Cline, that is, not Alex, the main character. Emma Cline does that really well, I think. Even in The Girls, it was quite tense, if I remember correctly. So yeah, she's just kind of trying to survive, basically, and trying to see what other person she can use for her own good and kind of for survival, really. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure what to feel about it yet, but I'll let you know when I finish it, which will probably be in the next few days. Anyway, I'm now going to finish my lunch and then I'm going on a walk because it's such nice weather. So I'll take you along for that. My forehead is really shiny. Cute. finished either or. Let's talk about it, shall we? I have many a thought. Spoiler alert, I loved it. I need to find my notes, 1 sec. Okay, so let's start with an overview, what sort of happened. I'm not sure how spoiler heavy this is going to be. Spoiler doesn't sound like the right word to use with a book like this, because it's kind of a no plot, just vibes book, which is one of the many reasons I loved it. But we meet Selin as she starts her second year at Harvard University. We just kind of pick up exactly where we left off with the idiot. She's still very much hung up on Ivan. She kind of thinks about him a lot, which is exactly what her mindset was in the idiot. But throughout this book, so she does kind of talk to him a few times, not very many times, but throughout the book she kind of reflects on the situation, especially with the books that she's reading, but I'm going to get to that in a second. She kind of finally is able to let that situation go and kind of just let it be what it was, and realize that maybe it wasn't, I don't want to say profound, but that's kind of the word that comes to mind, but maybe not as profound as she thought it was, but then again it was profound to her, but maybe just not to Ivan. But we see more and more throughout this book that he's just not it. I think she has a conversation later on in the book with one of his ex-girlfriends, and she's just like, yeah, this is just what he's like, and I wanted to reach out to you to kind of see if you were alright, if you were like really heartbroken. I did find it interesting that other people have had similar experiences with Ivan. And I think especially kind of how they talk about it, it's just so universal. Like every woman that was involved with a man has had an experience like that. It's just, he's just not it. But then still, I understand why she was so obsessed with him. I do get it. She was only 18, I understand it. So as we carry on, Selin thinks a lot about what it means to either live an aesthetic or an ethical life. An ethical life is sort of the more normal route, is what she thinks. And an ethical life, an aesthetic life is more the life of an artist, and that is what she kind of wants to live. She wants to live a life kind of similar to the books that she's reading. One thing I loved about this book is how Selin, she reads all these books and she's kind of looking for kind of direction in her life almost. She almost uses them as a guide. She takes them at very much face value, and like, if this is written down in this book that I like, that's how it is. And I just love that she relates everything that she reads to her life, and I just think that's so relatable. I just think a lot of people, including me, if you read a book, you automatically relate it to what's going on in your life currently, kind of the problems that you're facing, the relationships you're having with other people. And Selin takes it a little bit further, as I said, like almost a guide to her life. And I just love, like, for just writing style wise, I love how Elif Batuman, she puts all these incredibly specific things in this book that maybe not a lot of people have experienced, but because it is so specific, I think there's a lot of relatability in specificness. Like, the more specific something is being portrayed on the page or on TV or a theatre, I don't know, whatever form of art you want to think about, the more specific something is, I think the more relatable it is, because the people are specific, everyone is specific, and I just love that that's something that she maybe not considered, but just because we get so much of Selin's inner monologue. I mean, it's all we get is Selin's inner monologue, basically. Clearly, she is also has got a very specific way of thinking, and I love how direct she is. I love how literal she is. I love how she questions everything. Selin is so dear to my heart. I feel almost like protective of her, because all of these things, so she's doing a lot of new things, trying to pursue this aesthetic life. And one of those things that she feels is very, very important is that she has to lose her virginity to sleep with a lot of men, because firstly, that's what the people around her are doing. And that's also a big part of the books that she's reading. So especially for those kind of situations that she gets herself in, a lot of those were, I just felt so sorry for her, because I feel like she hasn't got the language yet that I feel like, especially with Selin, you see the woman that she is going to be in the future and kind of the opinion she's going to have looking back on, especially her sexual experiences when she was younger. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of sad to see her be such a non-active part in these situations. She just kind of lets these things happen, and she doesn't then judge them. She doesn't think of it as a bad experience or maybe something good that happened. I feel like I'm going on a bit of a tangent, not gonna lie. I'm gonna really outdone myself with this coffee. It's really good. Anyway, I feel like this was a bit all over the place and I've not exactly talked about what's happening in this book. So this is just, it's a bit of a mess. I'm sorry. I've just got so many thoughts and emotions about this. Okay, so Selin sort of detaches herself finally, mentally, emotionally, somewhat from Ivan. She still thinks about him a lot and reflects on things that have happened. One thing I did find also really interesting, especially in the beginning, when she comes back from Hungary, which is obviously what happened in The Idiot. She went to Hungary, and all of these people that she meets after her summer in Hungary ask her if something happened, and she feels as though everything happened, like so many things have happened to her that she's never experienced before. But obviously what they're asking is, did something happen with you and Ivan? Did you sleep together? And so she has to say no, even though that feels so wrong to her, because she's had this summer full of new experiences, meeting new people, doing new things, but she has to say no, nothing happened. And I feel like that sort of carries on throughout the book, where she feels a sort of disconnect to all of these things that she feels like she should be doing, like sleeping with all these men, because everyone else around her is doing it and seem to be enjoying it. And then she sort of gets it and she's like, oh, is this what it is? Is that what everyone's talking about? So later on in the book, she goes travelling, she goes to Turkey. She sort of apprehensively goes there because she doesn't really see the point, since she goes to Turkey most summers. But what she really wanted to do is go to Russia, because obviously she's been studying Russian for the past 2 years, but it doesn't work out initially. The only way she could get paid travel is to go to Turkey, and she writes a sort of travel guide and she goes to all these places, again, to pursue this aesthetic life that she's got set in her mind. Later on, the book ends when she is finally on her way to Russia, and I sort of thought it ended a little bit, I didn't expect that to be the ending when she's kind of landing in Russia. Initially I thought, oh my god, this must mean there is going to be another book. We're going to get the third year of Selin at Harvard. But I have since listened to a podcast with Elif Batuman, and she said that's not the case, which I was actually really upset about. But she said that she's still interested, definitely, in writing about Selin, but maybe later on in her 30s, which is something that I would also love. I would love to see how Selin grows up to be, because as I said, I feel like you can already tell the sort of person that she's going to be with everything that she's thinking about, all the things that she's questioning. You already know what kind of woman she's sort of going to be. I am interested to see if we ever get that book of Selin later on, if she's going to be in a relationship with a woman, because I feel like all of these or situationships or experiences she had with these men weren't exactly fulfilling to her. Sorry, the angle changed. I just had to change my battery in my camera. What was I saying? How all of these relationships with these men weren't fulfilling to her. I can see her, especially because she's asking her best friend Svetlana why they can't just be together, because they already spend so much time together, they understand each other, they have fulfilling conversations with each other. She asks her why they can't just be together. I feel like that is something that could be in Selin's future, and something that she could get a lot more fulfillment from, maybe. We'll see. Again, Elif Batuman's writing is just completely outstanding to me. I think her writing style is my favourite I've ever read from. She's got this talent where I feel like I'm reading from Selin's point of view and not Elif Batuman writing from Selin's point of view. It's crazy, you get so immersed because everything is just it's very realistic to me. Obviously I know that it, to a certain extent, I don't know if I want to call it auto-fiction, but I know that a lot of these experiences are from Elif Batuman's actual life. Obviously that plays into it being so realistic, but yeah, she is so talented in my opinion. I love that woman. She's blown my mind. I love her. Okay, so that I think wraps up my thoughts. Probably once I edit this and upload it, I'm gonna think I wanted to say so much more. There's so many things I was feeling. That's always the way. There's like 3 reviews that I watched recently on either or. I'm going to link down below because those 3 videos are putting into words exactly what I've been wanting to say, but not really managed to, I don't think. So I'm going to put them down below if you are interested in watching them, or if you're interested in reading this book. I mean, if you love The Idiot or if you even like The Idiot, I love either or. It's amazing. Not me forgetting I started a whole other book in this vlog. I was so overtaken by either or that I forgot about the guest. I'm so sorry. I did finish it. I finished it a while ago. That's why it wasn't at the front of my mind. But let's wrap that up as well. The Guest was a sort of very middle of the road book for me. The pros of it were definitely Emma Cline's writing style. I really enjoy that. Another good thing about it was how she was able to build up so much tension without much happening. But that was also kind of a downside for me. There just wasn't enough happening. As I said earlier, I love a no plot, just vibes book. To an extent, this was that as well. There just wasn't enough substance for me to still enjoy it as much as I did, for example, either or. So another positive about this was the sense of place and the setting. I really, really enjoyed reading about Alex kind of floating through all these days without really having anything to do, but having to kind of fend for herself, be able to find people that she can stay with and just sort of be able to make it for a couple of days. She attaches to all of these different wealthy people. She's basically an actress. She is pretending to be a person that she's not. Emma Cline really knows how to make you uncomfortable. I think that was already a thing in The Girls and some of the short stories in Daddy. She just has a talent to make you feel uncomfortable and build up tension, make you feel really like on the edge of your seat, even though nothing really is happening, but there's like this underlying feeling of something's not right, something bad's gonna happen. I do think a lot of people, including myself to a certain extent, are gonna be unhappy with the ending. I expected something else, but looking back on it, this sort of ending makes sense for a story like this. I don't want to say too much because obviously it's the ending of a book. I don't want to give too many spoilers, even though again it's not really a story that you can really spoil much. All I'm going to say is if you don't like ambiguous ending, open endings, maybe give this one a miss. I do still think it's worth it if you are a person that can enjoy a book for the writing style. Maybe you're going to love this book, and I'm in the minority here. Obviously, I've not seen that many reviews about it yet because it's not come out yet. If you liked Emma Cline's previous work, I would still say it's worth picking up. Without further ado, I'm sure we can end this vlog here. I've talked a lot, but to be fair, I was very excited about both of these books. Thank you, as always, for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll probably see you in my next vlog. I'm so excited to pick up a new book. I'm in such a good reading mood at the moment. I'm just going through them. I love it. So I'm sure whatever I pick up next, you're going to hear about. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.